Okay, so this video is going to be about root flipping. We've probably all turned to YouTube at some point and watched videos from these sage dreadheads that have had them for years, and they'll kind of explain that root flipping is bad, and without a demonstration it's hard to understand what root flipping actually means. So we all get frustrated with these crazy little bumpies going on at the top right here. Oh my gosh, I have the worst one right here. I hate this thing so much. This little, I just hate it. Anyway, you have to be patient with the process. You have to let it do its own thing. You just have to leave it alone and be hands off. What some people will run into though is they get very frustrated and they just want to accelerate the process and make everything look neat and tidy as fast as possible. Clearly, I don't care about that because mine is just an absolute mess. But it's okay. It's all part of the process. Just embrace the journey. However, like I said, this is about root flipping, and some people will just try to speed up the process any way possible without thinking about the repercussions down the road. So that's what this video is going to discuss. We all have these loose bits at the very top here, mature dreads. You'll only have like an inch or so. In fact, my most mature dread is a little stumpy thing right here, and I can barely get my finger through at the bottom, and that is how most dreads should be. You should have about an inch of comfortable kind of moving space so that your hair can be hair and move like hair still. If it was tight all the way to your actual scalp, then all of your hair would literally like stand on end because it would have no bendy space. So, you know, your hair is naturally going to have that little bit of space where it will allow it to kind of move around and do its own thing. That process takes a while to get to that point. And for instance, I have another one. Where'd the little thing go? I have another one right here. Most of my dreads started this way. Even this little guy back here started this way. They get very dready at the end and middle. Not so much the end, and it's very wispy still, but sort of in the middle. They start out kind of like normal little twist and rip dreads, and then it sort of washes out, shrinks down, and condenses. And this dread right here is only tight to about this point here. Just have kind of like this little nugget of hair that is tight and resembling of a dread. And then all of this right here is still loose and working its way up. So from here to the base, I probably have like 5 inches of hair that is not locked up. And I just have to be patient, and eventually it will work its way up. And that is what my little demonstration dread here used to be. It was only locked to about this point, and slowly but surely it worked its way up. It shrunk, it got loops, and it went nuts, and now it is tight up until about this point here. So I've got about 2 inches. A little ways still to go on that one. That's why I'm going to use it for my demonstration today. So basically, root flipping is when you take this sort of loose section from here to here, and you sort of go in and part the hairs so that you have like this little sort of hole in the middle, and you flip the dread over and push it through this hole. Pull it down, and it temporarily will make it lay much neater. There's not as big of a crazy bulge at the top as there was. And while this is great temporarily, makes it look nice and neat and tamed, in the long run it is a horrible idea, because what will happen is if you leave it this way, these 2 sections of hair will try to dread themselves. So this one will dread and this one will dread, and it will prevent any movement and interaction with these hairs at the root. And so you're actually slowing down the locking process by doing it this way. You will have a solid straight formed dread up until about this point here, and then you will have this forked dread. And down the road, with years of time, eventually this whole forked section would grow out and work its way down and eventually tighten back up and lock. That takes much longer than if you just, I'm going to unflip it, than if you just left it the way that it was and let it tighten on its own to the point that it wants to naturally tighten. Just leave it alone. Like I say, enjoy the journey, embrace the journey, just let it do what it wants to do. It is just not in the best interest of your dreads to do that. Very, very short-term outcome is going to be great. It's going to look neat and tame, but in the long run, you're really just slowing things down, backing things up, and limiting its progress. So just be patient. We've got, like, you know, these goofy little dreads that look like they're not doing much with all this loose hair up at the top, but eventually they really do turn into good, solid, actual real dreads. So just be patient and let it do what it wants to do. You'll get there eventually. You will.